Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Neptune's Child Tarot. Thank you guys all so much for being here. Your continued love and support here on the channel. I am available for private readings for those of you that are wanting to book a reading with me. You can find my email down below in the description box. Just send me an email and I will provide you with more information on booking readings as well as other services that I do provide. I also have channel memberships available for those of you that are wanting access to exclusive members only picker cards. Please do make sure that you join the second level tier, Starborn. That is going to give you access to those videos. If you join the first tier, it will make you a channel member. You'll get the little badge next to your name, but it won't give you access to those videos. Only the Starborn level will give you that, okay? So today's reading, I think I've actually done this reading before on this channel, but I'm doing an updated one because I think the last time I did it might have been a few years ago. So we're going to be looking today at what is your soul's purpose, your soul's mission, okay? So we're going to be pulling one of these cards to help you guys with choosing. We'll put some crystals on here. And then give you guys some time to just kind of sit with the cards and the crystals to see which one is calling to you the most. Okay, so what is your soul's purpose, your soul's mission in this lifetime? So group one, let's choose something for you. Group one, what is your soul's purpose, your soul's mission in this lifetime? Group one. Group two, what is your soul's purpose, your soul's mission? And group three, what is your soul's purpose, your soul's mission in this lifetime? Okay, let's see what we've got. Group one, we have the storm, and I'm going to pair that with this blue agate. So the storm and blue agate for group one. Group two, we have the mystic, and I'm going to pair that. Let's actually do this yellow crystal here. So group two, the mystic with this yellow crystal. I think it might be a Jasper. Okay. Group three, we have the dead end, and that I'm going to pair with this opalite. So the dead end and opalite. This could be an interesting one with these cards here. I'm excited to see what comes through. The dead end and the opalite for group number three. Okay, so those are the choices. I'm going to give you guys a moment. Again, what is your soul's purpose, your soul's mission in this lifetime? Hi, group one. So those of you that resonate with the blue agate and the storm card, this is going to be your reading today. So this should be quite interesting. There's some interesting cards that came out for you guys. So let's pull some tarot and see. Let's get some more information here. But this storm reminds me a lot of tower energy. And tower energy is about awakening. It is about the release or the breakdown of illusions, structures, things that are no longer needed. It's about releasing things that are no longer serving, whether this is people, situations, certain aspects of the self. The tower energy certainly does bring a lot of change. The storm energy, it's that very chaotic energy. So we'll kind of see what's happening here. Destruction, I'm getting destruction, chaos. It reminds me a lot of like the energy of Kali Ma, the goddess Kali Ma, death and rebirth. So this could be like feeling like the things that you've gone through in your life have been, for some of you, very challenging. And kind of feeling that some of the experiences that may have even been very traumatic or challenging in nature, that have really kind of, for some of you, kind of bringing you to a place of like hitting rock bottom, or really kind of forcing you to grow and transform through a lot of perhaps chaos, destruction, things kind of happening in your life with other situations, other people that have brought about a tremendous amount of transformation and growth for you. So what is your soul's purpose, your soul's mission? It kind of makes me feel like you too, like something about your energy that helps to create or transform something in the environments that you go into. Family situations, relationships, friendships, like kind of like all these areas of your life where you interact with others, where your presence, not like you're doing it on purpose. It could be that it's just, I don't know, it could be something that you bring into situations where you kind of may trigger people, even triggering people, mirroring to people things that they need to realize within themselves, change within themselves. Revealing truth is another thing that's coming through. Revealing the truth, helping people to see situations or things for what they really are. And this could even be your own process here. What is your soul's purpose, your soul's mission, group 1? Hierophant. Wow. The Empress. What is your soul's purpose? The Knight of Swords in reverse. Five of Wands. Look at that. Perfect. The Tower. The Fool. Six of Cups. Okay, so I'm definitely feeling this energy here. This is a very powerful pile. I can say that already. The Tower energy is Mars and Pluto energy. Okay, Mars and Pluto. Which is Pluto rules Scorpio and Mars rules Aries. Okay. Tower energy, like I said, it's very destructive. It helps with realizations, epiphanies, awakenings. It almost kind of like forces us to change, forces growth. And sometimes this can come through certain realizations, that we have about people, places, situations, events that are happening in our life. And sometimes this is helping to break down old structures. And we do have the Hierophant here. The Hierophant is about tradition, it's about belief systems, values, morals, things that have been passed down from generation to generation. And so I feel like this happening and you going through this, it challenges your own beliefs that may have been limiting. And I feel like especially those that involve other people, relationships that you do have with others, whether they are romantic, platonic, family members. And I feel like going through this energy could be something that helps to bring about a new way of thinking. Because you also have the Fool energy here. The Fool is Uranus. Uranus brings forth a lot of transformation as well, but it brings so in a huge, impactful way and more innovative thinking. And you also have the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy. We have the Empress, which is also Taurus and Libra. Okay. So Taurus, both Taurus and Libra are ruled by Venus, and Venus is about love, beauty, abundance. And I'm noticing that this Knight of Swords is in reverse. And so I feel like this is changing mindset, communication. Libra is seventh house energy, which has to do with harmony and balance, especially when it comes to relationships. Six of Cups is also about balance and harmony, when especially with connections with others. And here we can see the Five of Wands, which is conflict, perhaps involving other people. Very challenging, maybe relationships, differences, jealousy, envy, fighting, arguing. This is five. The fives are also about bringing forth change. The Four of Swords is about healing, reflection, meditation. So I feel like this gives you an opportunity through learning to change certain belief systems, or even breakdown of old belief systems that have shaped the way you have built your relationships, the foundations that you've built your relationships on with others. And going through where you're experiencing that either your way of thinking or your way of speaking or your way of acting, or even the way that other people have come in with that energy, where it can create conflict in your life. And the ultimate breakdown of, say, like a relationship, a partnership, to make it so that it's no longer harmonious, but becomes more chaotic in nature. The Knight of Swords energy is like a warrior, okay? A warrior that's just kind of like rushing into battle. And so that energy can come through as very confrontational, aggressive, defensive, in the way that we communicate. And sometimes we end up like that because of certain life experiences that we have, childhood upbringing, that can dictate the way that we communicate, the way that we think, the way that we interact with others. And so we might learn through this, because the Hierophant is also about higher education, wisdom, and knowledge. This is the energy of a teacher. The Hermit is about wisdom, also very wise. Both of these, the Hierophant and the Hermit, very wise energies, very wise archetypes. The Hermit is a guide, mentor, teacher. So I feel like as you are having your own epiphanies, your own realizations, and more so a lot of deep healing, because I feel for many of this could even go into inner child wounds, For some of you, this could be healing a mother wound. Okay. Healing your feminine energy. The Empress has to do with love and nurturing. And so this could be, for some of you, healing the mother wound in this lifetime, learning to nurture yourself, learning how to nurture your relationships in a way that is powerful for you. Okay? If you are someone who does have children, and you are also someone who has a mother wound, or even something within your mother line, where, oh my goodness, I see a rabbit outside, you guys. I am going to take a picture really quick. That's so crazy because we're talking about the Empress right now. Let me see. Oh my goodness. I'm going to put it inside of your your guys' video. Okay. So rabbits are about fertility, which the Empress is about fertility. But the Six of Cups can also be about childhood, children, gifts of the heart, giving something to somebody, gifting from a place of love, of caring about people. That's so sweet. That rabbit is out there eating the grass. But it takes you away from the way in which we approach relationships, connections, right? We could grow up with certain belief systems because it's what's been passed down. I'm almost kind of getting like a toxic way of communicating here that you're shifting and changing. Because I feel like going through these challenging relationships, that it has offered a lot of insight, a lot of wisdom, a lot of learning what works and what doesn't when it comes to communicating with others, bonding with others. You're learning how to bond in this lifetime. So perhaps looking at what were the limitations, what things were keeping you from being able to really form a deep, meaningful bond and connection. You know, the Five of Wands can also talk about jealousy, envy, competition, comparison. This can be feeling not good enough about yourself, feeling of needing to compete. I mean, that could even be like the energy that you felt like if you've had a mother, for some of you specifically, if you had a mother that was very competitive with you, or jealousy between mother and child, or even feeling the need to compare yourself to other females. And really, envy comes from a place of lack, where we feel like we don't have what that other person has, or this person's better looking than us, or this person has a better body, or whatever it might be. The Empress is about you learning how to love and accept yourself exactly as you are. Let's see what else here. So the Fool is about a new beginning, right? Without all of the, there's the Seven of Swords. This could be certainly bringing in trust issues, insecurities, the Magician. This is Mercury. Mercury energy. Mercury is all about communication. Communication. And I feel like within the self, okay, within the self, but also in your interactions with others. So what does your inner dialogue sound like? The Ace of Swords is about some type of truth, some type of clarity, an epiphany, a realization. Again, going into this energy over here, we have the Star at the bottom with the Three of Swords. Okay, so there's certainly healing here. The Three of Swords is about emotional turmoil, pain, suffering, heartbreak. Some of you may have even been betrayed by family members, by even mother, okay? Mother, siblings, um, because I feel like with this awakening here with the Tower, you have the Hermit, and the Hermit is kind of going through that whole dark night of the soul. So I feel that the transformation that you will have in this lifetime, group one, is going to be huge. It's going to be huge. And it may not feel the greatest as you go through this experience. It could be very painful, but the pain is your teacher. We're learning something from that, because we're really feeling very deeply into the emotions that we have and the types of thoughts that it brings up within us. And like I said, I'm seeing for some of you, it's kind of like that rabbit is still eating out there. I love that. The rabbit just kind of came in with your reading, with all the grass there. And you know what? That's also, I feel like, part of your reading here, where this rabbit is just kind of in the field here, eating the grass, taking time to nourish the self, nurture, giving its body what it needs to take care of itself. And I feel that with the Empress energy, it's where you're in this lifetime, like you're focusing on nurturing you, healing you. Because the Hermit is an energy of solitude, introspection, reflection, learning to discover the self. And I feel like this is also you discovering the power that you have to create a new beginning for yourself. So those of you that chose this pile, like, you might be the one out of your family line that is the cycle breaker, the one that is shifting away from the old paradigm, the old belief systems, the old structures and limiting beliefs that may have been passed down within your family line, where you are kind of breaking the mold. You're breaking the mold here. It's like you're discovering your truth of who you are without the pain, without the suffering, without the conflict. So I want to look at this Knight of Swords in reverse. I feel for many of you, it's also about recognizing what your worth is, what your value is, really learning to love yourself, to feel worthy, right? Of balanced, harmonious relationships, connections where people don't deceive you, people don't, because the Seven of Swords can talk about betrayal, sneakiness, deception, lies, deceit, stealing, trying to get away with things. I mean, it could even be people doing certain things to you and you allowing them to get away with it, in a sense where you haven't set a boundary, or you have to learn to speak up for yourself, to stand up for yourself, to no longer allow certain people with certain energies into your life. You know what you're worthy of. You allow in balanced connections, harmonious relationships. You protect your peace. Why is this Knight of Swords in reverse? The Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, so I feel like in this case, with the Wheel of Fortune being here, there's been some karmic cycles here. There's been some karmic cycles here that you may have been kind of stuck in. And so you're changing that. You're changing that. I feel like this is also something that's helping many of you with your sense of security within yourself. Sometimes we can also hold on to certain partnerships, um, partnerships, friendships, um, that are unhealthy. Yeah, we have the Two of Swords energy here with the Devil and with the Temperance card with the Six of Pentacles. King of Swords and the World. So you're closing a cycle here. This may have been something that may have been ongoing for, like I said, within your family line, even lifetime after lifetime. You know, the devil energy can be very toxic. It can be about obsession, control, possession, lies, codependency, attachment. These can be recognizing certain unhealthy patterns of behavior that you have within inside of yourself. This can also talk about emotional manipulation. This could be people who emotionally manipulate you in some way that have affected your psyche. Your mental health, your mental and emotional well-being. The Two of Swords can sometimes be when we're in a place of denial, where we're not seeing the toxicity. And sometimes if you grow up in that environment and you meet and connect with other people, you don't even realize it's toxic because it's what you're used to, right? There could have been those lack of boundaries that you've experienced when it comes to your childhood with parents or siblings or childhood friends, your early adult relationships, where it was like the norm, right? Where people would do that to you. People would deceive you. People would lie to you. People would manipulate you. And it's kind of like in this lifetime, you're learning how to let go of those belief systems of needing to accept that or hold on to it or to try to cling on to it. You're recognizing what your worth is so that you know, the Temperance card and the Six of Pentacles is about receiving equal energy. Relationships and connections that were both, there's equal give and take. You know, the King of Swords is very assertive, is very direct, is very good at communication, at way of thinking. The King of Swords is about higher consciousness. It's also you learning how to master your communication skills, the way in which you communicate with others, but also in your way of thinking, meaning that you're no longer letting your mind be limited in terms of, I want to say certain fears, certain insecurities, certain doubts. It's like you're dismantling the ego, the unhealthy aspects of the ego through this process of awakening. There could be certain things that you're not seeing within yourself, right? With the devil energy here, because it doesn't have to be other people that are being this way. It could also be certain aspects of your own behaviors, your own way of thinking, your own way of speaking, your own way of acting, and how they've also been shaped by your family, your upbringing, your early connections and relationships, the bonds that you formed. What kind of bonds have you formed? Have they been unhealthy bonds, unhealthy connections? You know, even relationships for you that have created a lot of pain, a lot of confusion, a lot of misunderstandings. It makes me feel like you have like a greater sense of self. And there's a lot of healing here. The Temperance card is here to balance and to transmute these energies. And so this could even be, like I said, for some of you, like where you're a trigger to certain people to look at their own darkness, to look at their own shadow, that you are kind of someone who is guiding and leading others and shining your light, because I feel like this is happening for you first. And then as you go through healing and transmuting your energy, you then illuminate other people's darkness, other people's shadows. You mirror to them certain aspects of themselves that they need to heal with inside of themselves. Things that need transmuting, things that need, like, you might be somebody who gives guidance and advice and helps people to see things clearly and to speak from a place of truth. And that can sometimes be triggering, right? Sometimes there's certain things that we see and we want to tell other people, hey, I noticed this, or hey, I noticed that. And we might not have the best way of being able to communicate that in a healthy way, right? So I feel like you're also learning how to bring forth the truth, reveal the truth, your truth, as well as showing the truth to others, but doing so in a way that is conducive to healing, right? How can we say it in a loving way? How can we say it in a way that is a gift to another person of clarity, of truth, versus resorting to that Knight of Swords energy that is very defensive or aggressive or confrontational, where we want to say something to somebody, but we're doing so in a way that we're not thinking clearly because we're triggered in that moment, right? Because other people can also trigger us as well. And how do we react to that? That's reactive to me with that Knight of Swords in reverse, reactive in a way that's maybe a little toxic, right? So if we're noticing that something is not quite aligned with people and how we're interacting with others, we can learn how to communicate from a place of love too, because the Empress is about expansion and growth, and we want to nurture those relationships in a healthy way. So this is by way of healing certain belief systems, mindsets within ourselves, but then also being able to lead others, lead by example, and guide others into their own truth and to their own healing, and to helping them to change their mindset, their ideas, their mentality. But we're doing so in a way that's not like, I'm telling you what to do and I'm your teacher, but more so that we're doing it in a way that we're giving and coming through with the teaching, with the guidance that is constructive to actually make people want to dig deeper into themselves, to make them want to self-reflect, because not everyone does. So I kind of feel that when you do balance your energy and work towards healing it and harmonizing it, that when you speak your truth and when you share your knowledge and your wisdom, it's going to be better received, and that better receptivity of that information is going to help to bring about the transformation that the world needs, right? Because if we say it, let's just say if we say it in a negative way, like we notice like a family member or a friend and they're doing something wrong, and we come with the wrong tone, or we come through defensive or aggressive or confrontational and saying, you need to do this, or you need to change that, and you this, you that, and blaming or projecting our anger or hurt on a person, and it's coming through in a negative way, is that person going to listen to you? Probably not, right? They're going to be just as defensive, just as reactive to defend themselves, where it's just kind of creates this ongoing battle. So your mission is to help to harmonize, to help to balance, to help to release and break down certain things that are stuck here. Because with this energy of the devil, this is Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn brings in a lot of rigid ways of thinking, of believing, structures, limitations. We were doing it this way because it's always been done this way. It's kind of like you're breaking the mold. You're helping people to see a new way of thinking, a new way of connecting. And by you communicating the truth, revealing the truth, living in your truth, living in your authenticity, it's healing. Because it's like other people see you and the transformation that is taking place within you, that can also kind of create like this domino effect of that being projected outward onto others, right? People recognize their own shadow because you learn how to communicate it from a place of love, right? I feel like in a really beautiful way. And the Six of Pentacles is also about charity. It's about giving to others, but it's that equal exchange of energy, right? That you're exchanging with people. So you're exchanging energy with others, but you're doing so in a way that is, with the Temperance card, about transmuting, right? That's what I'm getting from this. Quite powerful. You've got a big mission because I feel like this creates a lot of healing within you, but it then creates that ripple effect, right? Where even your presence and your energy could also be something that's very healing. And some of you might even feel like you attract a lot of broken people, people that feel broken or people that need healing, but they're kind of drawn to your light, right? The Hermit is a guide. The Hermit is about being in that darkness. It's about self-discovery. It's about the dark night of the soul. It's about you finding your own light, and then by way you then being the light for others, shining your light, your healing energy, uh, illuminating the shadows within yourself. Some of you, I feel like you're learning to get very comfortable and familiar with your own darkness, with your own shadow, and learning to also harmonize that and create that balance within self. But then you're also kind of outwardly teaching others to kind of do the same. And it's creating this beautiful change of energy. Okay, that's beautiful. Okay, so let's see. What is your soul's purpose, your soul's mission? Group 1. The Alchemist. You have the ability to create experiments, perfect, and transform things in a seemingly magical process. Okay, so this is most certainly alchemizing energy, transmuting energy, healing. The star is also about renewal, restoration, healing, purification, which is also something that happens with the Temperance card, purification of this energy. Like a healer, you know, some of you might resonate as healers, as teachers, as guides, mentors, teachers, spiritual, some of you very spiritual. The Witch. Some of you might resonate as a witch. You manifest your desires by using your energy through working with nature, rituals, and spells. We have the Traveler here. You live for adventures, free spirit, always on the go. You look for the next big thing, exploration and expansion. It reminds me of Sagittarius energy, Jupiter, expansion and growth. And then we have the Phoenix here, and the Mother is at the bottom. I love this. The Phoenix, rising from the ashes. That's that Scorpio energy. Breaking the chains of attachment and have learned the lesson of letting go, right? We're letting go of people, situations, ways of thinking. And that could even be our own rigid way of thinking, especially with the Capricorn, Saturn energy there, the Hierophant. We have Mother here, empathic and supportive, love to care and nurture. You remain patient and humble and unconditional love. And that is one of those lessons, right? With the Empress energy there. Unconditional love, nurturing. Like I said, many of you could be healing the mother wound, healing your own feminine energy, transforming the feminine. Okay. Transmuting. Okay. Beautiful. All right, so that is all that I have for you, Group 1. I do hope this reading was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Hi, Group 2. So those of you that resonate with the yellow crystal and the Mystic card. Wow. We have, it looks like a moth here with this little flame, this glow in the center of it, and there's like 2 eyes here. We'll see where this is going, but I kind of feel that you could be in this lifetime very drawn to spiritual path in general, but I'm kind of feeling this could be working on a lot of your discovering your spiritual gifts. This could be studying them, you know, learning all about them. Definitely this energy here of transformation, especially with this moth here. I noticed too that there's all this dark around the moth, and then there's like this light in the center, and I'm sure you've heard that phrase about moths being drawn to the flame. Moths also have a very short lifespan. The symbolism behind them, though, about them seeking the light, being drawn to the light. And so I feel that many of you that have chosen this pile, this could be you finding your way out of your darkness, in a sense that you're truly discovering the light within the self. Like you're finding your inner light in this lifetime, that you're discovering. This is like almost kind of like a journey of self-discovery for you in this lifetime. You're meant to learn to get to know the self. So there's could be a lot of time that you spent or being called towards a path of enlightenment. This might be spending time in isolation, spending time getting to know yourself and discover yourself and who you are and what your purpose is, what your passions are, and what your hidden talents and gifts and abilities are. So a lot of learning, a lot of studying, a lot of taking in information and knowledge that your soul is learning to grow and evolve. And with these eyeballs here, I'm feeling some of you may even have gifts of clairvoyance. You might be able to receive, you know, messages in the form of in your dream state, or even when you're daydreaming. Okay, so let's see where this is going. I'm going to see what Spirit says here. I'm excited to see what your pile says. Pile 1 is quite interesting as well. Group 2, what is your soul's purpose, your soul's mission? Ace of Pentacles. The Sun and the Devil, what a combination. Two of Swords. The Ten of Pentacles. I almost feel like the Sun is a very bright energy. It's about life force, vitality. But next to the Devil, it kind of reminds me of like perhaps something about illuminating the shadow, because the Devil is the shadow energy. Let's see. What is your soul's purpose, your soul's mission? Judgment. Nine of Pentacles. I mean, Judgment is about awakening. Ace of Swords in reverse. It is about awakening. It's about rebirth. Eight of Swords, limitations, restrictions, lack of clarity. There's the Hermit. This is self-discovery, the journey to the innermost self. The Hermit is kind of like being on a spiritual quest. The Hangman. This is enlightenment. Solitude. This is just what I was talking about with the Mystic. The Wheel of Fortune here. The Ten of Pentacles could have to do with your family line, but it could also have to do with like generational, ancestral. We're going to open this up a little bit more, but I'm trying to figure this out. The Hangman is about enlightenment, a change or a shift of perspective. And the Wheel of Fortune here can certainly be about patterns or cycles. This is helping to bring about positive change into your life. I almost feel like this is waking you up out of the darkness, or pulling you through, you're navigating your way through your own darkness. So some of you might feel, you might even have like feelings of loneliness or isolation, or even being called to a path of self-discovery. Because the Devil is the shadow self, okay? It is the ego and the unhealthy aspects of the ego, which can keep us stuck in self-doubt, fears. It's a very oppressive energy over us, right? Now, when we're doing this question today about what your soul's purpose and your soul's mission is, we have to remember that we do live in a 3D world, okay? You are a spiritual being who is having this experience on earth, and the ego is something that the higher self uses as the mask to navigate the 3D world. And sometimes, well, not sometimes, all the time, our ego is shaped and developed by way of the experiences that we have in life. And sometimes those experiences can be traumatic. Sometimes it can affect and have a negative impact on the way that we develop the self, and our way of thinking can sometimes become very rigid, or we can carry certain belief systems that limit the beliefs that we have. It can create self-sabotaging thoughts, create fears within us. And so our perception of our 3D reality can be one that could either be one that feels like a prison for us, or one that feels like we're living the best life ever, depending on the kind of experiences that we have and the way that the ego is shaped. Now, the ego can be affected, of course, by our upbringing, by our childhood, by the life experiences that we have. I think I did say we saw the Hierophant at the bottom. Now, the Hierophant does talk about tradition, about beliefs, about morals, about values, things that are passed down by generation to generation, tradition, okay? Whether that is societal beliefs, whether that is your family, your generational lines, belief systems. Sometimes society, certain cultures can also shape the way that we view the self and the way that we fit into the world. So again, sometimes some of those belief systems that could be very rigid, they could be very dogmatic. Sometimes certain people who grew up with certain religions can have a positive impact on their life, or sometimes a negative impact on their life, depending on what they've experienced. And so we have to then decide whether or not the belief systems that have been shaped and shaped us to who we are ones that are very supportive of us in our life, or are they ones that are hindering our growth in the way that we see ourselves. And so I feel like there could be certain things that you may not see within the self and how those beliefs might limit you. And I kind of look at this as like an unlearning process for you, an unlearning and then relearning in belief systems that are more supportive of your continued growth and evolution. Because we have to remember, as a spiritual being, we're here to learn. We're here to go through these life experiences to help our soul to grow and evolve and ascend into higher levels of consciousness, into breaking free from the limiting beliefs that the ego can sometimes keep us confined in, right? We're meant to be enlightened. We're meant to become enlightened. We're meant to ascend. We're meant to grow and continue to grow and evolve. But sometimes there are certain life experiences that we go through where we kind of get stuck. And the devil energy, which has to do with the ego, can sometimes be a very oppressive force of energy over us. The devil is an illusion. It creates an illusion. It creates attachment, codependency, being overly focused on the material world, meaning money, power, overindulgence, certain addictions, obsession, unhealthy attachment or codependency. It can keep us stuck in allowing others to deceive us, allowing others to manipulate, control, or be possessive, or it may even be that we then become that type of person. And so we can sometimes get ourselves caught up in situations that create this illusion of happiness. Okay? And is it more or less coming from a place of attachment or codependency? Or greed, when the ego is the driving force behind why we have a certain career path, or why we choose something in life, or why, so I feel that for you, your purpose in this lifetime is to kind of really deep dive and get to know the self through your own awakening process of finding your inner light. And it might be, just like I told pile 1, it might not be the most pleasant experience, because sometimes some of the things that you go through can be quite challenging, sometimes very painful. The Eight of Swords is here, which is about self-limiting beliefs. It's about restrictions and limitations of the mind, right? So when we're here on earth, like I said, the higher self wears the ego as a mask to help it to navigate life on earth, 3D reality. And that ego is shaped by societal beliefs, upbringing, tradition, morals, values, belief systems, culture, religion, life experiences that we have. And it could either be very positive for us, where we have a healthy ego, or we have an unhealthy ego and we get trapped in fear, right? Which is a construct of the 3D world. We get stuck in pain and suffering, also construct of the 3D world in its experience. So the devil energy is making us feel oppressed and stuck in and confined by the limiting energies of the ego. Your purpose in this lifetime is to dismantle the ego and its limitations over you as a soul who was meant to evolve and grow, and to help to change your perspective, where we might feel like I'm trapped, I'm stuck, I'm attached, I'm this, I'm that. This helps you to break free of that confinement, where you find freedom through self-discovery and finding and deep diving into the self, where you discover what those limitations are, what those belief systems are. This is where you can create new belief systems, ones that make you feel more like yourself. The Nine of Pentacles is about independence. It's having a sense of self, a strong sense of self, a strong sense of security, a strong sense of identity. So in this lifetime, you're awakening to your authentic self. That is your purpose. You're getting to know who you are. You're getting to know what your path is, what you want to do, without the limitations of the ego, right? So we're dismantling it. We're seeing that these limitations are just an illusion, right? So you're recognizing, how do I hold myself back? right? How has my belief systems and the way that I view myself and the way that I fit into the world, how have they been shaped by family? How have they been shaped by my relationships? How have they been shaped by for certain friends, certain influential energies that have created this limiting energy surrounding you? This is where you kind of break free and you change the pattern, you change the cycle, and you feel more authentically you. Okay, so this, your purpose in this lifetime, your mission is to learn to discover you. It is a spiritual quest. It's, for many of you, like I said, you could be on a path of solitude, a lot of journeying, a lot of spiritual energy, feeling called to spiritual things. Some of you might be experiencing the whole dark night of the soul, and really, you know, maybe even moving through some difficult periods of your life where you might even feel a little in the dark, a little lost, kind of feeling like you're on autopilot and you're just kind of going through life on, you know, and same thing keeps happening over and over and over again. And you're just like, I need to break free, right? The soul wants to break free. The soul wants to evolve. The soul wants to continue on its path towards feeling alive, feeling happy, feeling joy, feeling pleasure in life that is genuine to the soul versus the desires of the ego that might lead us to certain things that are very tempting, but they might not really be feeding our soul, right? So when you learn to how you limit how your mind limits you in what you're able to do, and in the ideas and the dreams and the goals that you have for yourself, this is where you really break free. This is where you really learn who you are. So a lot of this is the path to self-discovery here, and restoring joy and happiness into your life, right? Navigating your way through your own darkness, understanding the darkness, right? Understanding your shadow, integrating your shadow, illuminating the shadow is what I'm getting here, to provide you with clarity, to provide you with truth, to provide you with the ability to create a whole new beginning. The Judgment card is about death and rebirth, the rebirth process, the phoenix rising from the ashes. And so this is a beautiful transformative process for you. This is you're spending this lifetime discovering who you truly are. Okay? And like I said to pile 1, the process of you doing so might not be the easiest. It might feel very challenging at times, but on the other side of the light at the end of the tunnel, right, so to say, is beautiful. Okay, this is where with the sun energy here, this is radiant, this is powerful, this is abundant, this is joy, this is happiness, this is you feeling this revitalized energy of your life force. Okay, so those of you that might be feeling a little lost and kind of feeling like you're a little bit in the dark, it is through you sitting within that darkness and understanding it, the feelings, the thoughts, the ideas, and really deeply reflecting in the self about how your past has shaped you, right, into who you are and what is authentically you, and what past experiences are limiting you into a certain way of thinking, a certain way of feeling, a certain way of believing about yourself. This is where you let go. This is where you break free from that trap, from that oppressive energy, and you learn to reclaim your power. You learn to reclaim your life, and you bring about positive change within your life, is what I'm seeing here. So we do have the Hierophant. The Hierophant is also about teaching, learning, studying. So this is something that your soul is learning. Some of you, even with doing the inner work and kind of coming out of it, you might even step into as the role of a spiritual teacher for others, you know, where you could help to guide people to change their perspective, or to recognize their own shadow, or to feel more secure within themselves, or to awaken them to their own inner truth, their own inner journey, to also look deeply within themselves. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing here for you guys. I want to clarify this Ace of Swords in reverse. Five of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, some of you are healing this feeling of lack, emptiness, void, self-worth issues, insecurities, abandonment, rejection, even not feeling abundant, you know, issues with poverty consciousness, scarcity mindset, the lack of resources, you know, and that would be the mind, right, that tells you I'm stuck in poverty, I'm stuck in this, I'm stuck in that. It's like you recognize it's just an illusion, right? Because you do have the Ten of Pentacles here and the Nine of Pentacles. Both of these are cards of wealth, of financial security, financial stability. It's our own belief systems, right, that tell us that we are in lack, or that we are limited to that. We are limited in our ability to create and manifest wealth and abundance. Okay, so this is about changing our perspective and recognizing that you do have the power to manifest, right? Through changing your belief systems, through changing your perspective, that you can begin to see yourself as abundant, right? Because again, the ego limits you, right? In its experience, it makes you feel that, okay, if you are experiencing financial hardship right now, or if you're experiencing some kind of lack in your life, whether it has to do with money or it has to do with love or anything else, it's our mind that keeps us stuck like that, that believes that they're not worthy of more, that we can't have more, right? Where your soul is journeying and evolving and growing, we're needing to shift into the higher mind, higher consciousness, your higher self, who knows the universe is abundant. There are opportunities everywhere, right? But we can either choose to look at that from the lens of scarcity mindset, where we believe that there are no opportunities out there, that love is not out there, or that we're in that place of lack, or we can change the perspective to that of abundance and plenty of opportunity. Okay? So I feel like many of you too are learning to feel more secure within yourself, more independent, more, you know, so this could even be shifting away from codependency into being more independent and learning healthy interdependence when it comes to connections with others. Why is the Ace of Swords in reverse? Queen of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, so many of you are learning to feel, like I said, more secure, more stable, stability, security. First and foremost within yourself. This is also nurturing yourself. Okay. So I feel like a lot of focus here on the self. Why is the Hangman here? The Emperor, Page of Cups. Some of you, I feel like this is helping you in terms of your love life as well. Okay. Especially with partners who give you less than what you're worthy of. Sometimes we might have the rosy colored glasses when it comes to our love life, the Page of Cups energy. We might have the rosy colored glasses and we might not be perceiving a person in the right way. We might be thinking that this is our happiness, this is where this is abundant, but really in reality, it could be a connection for you that is very out of alignment, something that's not balanced, something where we become more romantically infatuated or obsessed or attached to a person who we believe is going to provide stability, is going to provide security, is going to provide love. So then we can be asking ourselves, why is it that we hold on to that person? Right? Is it because of an abandonment wound, a fear of abandonment, a fear of rejection, a fear of isolation, a fear of being alone. So we go from connection to connection to connection because we don't want that feeling of being alone. We want to feel that security like right away, right? So again, that's going into that feeling of lack. So by you learning to discover the self, heal the self, or discover even your reasons for which you would accept less than, right? And we learn to feel more secure. We let go of these false beliefs that we have of there is not enough, or that, people always abandon, or people always reject, or people, I don't feel worthy enough. I don't feel good enough. Some of you might be healing a wound surrounding toxic masculine in your life. That could be dealing with toxic masculines. It might even be healing a father wound here for you. Okay. Some of you might even have some very challenging lessons when it comes to your love life. Okay. It really helps you to grow and mature emotionally, how to really express your feelings, your heart, your emotions, but it's also being able to recognize what is really love and what is not. Okay? Especially if you've had to deal with partners that have been emotionally manipulative, lying, creating a false illusion of security for you, and then kind of like holding on to those partners, believing that, kind of like when we're in denial and we're not wanting to see the reality or the truth that this person isn't going to provide the stability and the security that you look for, right? So again, we're healing the self and changing our perspective and seeing people for who they really are. And this is helping you to kind of take your rosy-colored glasses off and to see the truth of what you are really deserving of. So some of you, I'm seeing a really powerful lesson here of learning to feel more secure in the self so that you're not keeping those rosy-colored glasses on when it comes to your accepting in partners who are unbalanced and who are perhaps even emotionally immature, people who lie, people who manipulate, people who are possessive, controlling, dominating, people who are not really, people who are withdrawn, right? And not really loving you in the way that you're deserving to be loved. It could even be having a boss, right? Who tries to control, who tries to manipulate, who tries to limit your capabilities, to limit your growth within your career. And you tell yourself, "Oh yes, I'm happy here," and really, it's like recognizing you're worthy of more than that. You're worthy of more money, where you believe in yourself and you don't take the less than, right? And you move on to another job or another career path that does see your worth. Or some of you could even be moving into learning how to be self-made, meaning that you create your own wealth, your own abundance, your own business. You be the emperor of your own life. You create your empire. You create the structure and the solid foundation that maybe for some of you didn't receive in your childhood, you didn't receive during your upbringing, or you're not receiving that with a partner. It's like you are your own stability. You are your own solid foundation that you need. And then once you move into that energy, right, of that security, you are then able to connect with healed people that have also done the inner work, versus attracting things from a space of lack. Okay? That's what I'm getting here. Okay. So you're really learning how to step into your power here and to claim your abundance in its many forms. Whether it's love or money, material, it could even be the richness of the spiritual studies and things that are important to you in that aspect of your life. Okay. Group 2. Okay. So we have the Akashic Librarian. Your spiritual journey is to discover and tap into the energetic archive of the universe. Okay. And so first and foremost, we can be doing this for ourselves, right? You connecting into your own Akashic records, or even having somebody do that for you. But some of you might even, like, if especially if you're delving into spiritual studies, this is you learning how to channel and connect into and tap into the information that is within the Akashic records, even as you help other people. So that could be something for you as well. Okay. We have Moonchild here, and it says you have a deep soul connection to the moon, sensitive to energy waves, planetary shifts, and lunar cycles. And then we have influence here, quick to start new trends and spread knowledge, and very persuasive. Okay, so you could be someone who has the gift of communication, your voice, and being able to persuade certain people's thoughts. And this is done so in a way that is healthy, right? Not so in a way where we're trying to be manipulative. But you speak and people listen, right, to your words from your own knowledge, your own wisdom, through your own inner journey. Okay, let's see what else. All right, you go from being the student into the teacher. Counselor, wow. It says you hold powerful space for others' well-being. You offer heartfelt guidance and wisdom. Okay, so that can even be things that you share with other people through things that you've learned, communicating things with others in a beautiful way, a very loving way. And that can also certainly be something that helps others, you know, to heal. Some of you also might be really good counselors, really good at counseling, whether you choose to do it professionally, or it's just naturally you know, the way in which you decide to share information or give and offer insight, especially with the Hermit and the Hierophant here, because the Hierophant could be a teacher or a mentor. The Hermit is a guide. Okay. We have the Weaver, healer by connecting people and place in elegant tapestries of shared meaning and visions of a world that works for all. Yeah. So that could be bringing people together in a healthy way, right? And I feel like this also starts within you as well, because the more secure, solid, stable that you feel within yourself, like I said, you are going to attract people into your life that are also resident in that energy. All right. And so with the influencer here, especially if you step into that role of teaching, and it doesn't just necessarily have to be teaching in the way that we think, you know, like teaching high school or grade school. This could be something that you share, even for some of you spiritually, like if you step into that role of being a spiritual teacher, or just, you know, like I said, whether you choose to do it professionally or it's just naturally you. It's just something that you're like that go-to friend or person, or within the family, that everybody comes to you and asks, like, let's go ask group 2. They always know the answer. They always have the information. They always have the insight to be able to share that. They have good advice. Okay. All right. So that is all that I have for you, group 2. I do hope this was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next reading. Hi, group 3. So those of you that resonated with the Dead and the Opalite, this is going to be your reading. This should be quite interesting. Here in this Dead End card, there's a hand right in the middle of that. So it kind of gives that feeling of like there's no way out, like we've reached some kind of block or some type of impasse here. So let's see what's coming through with your tarot. It almost kind of gives me this way of like not being able to move forward, maybe with a certain path or a certain belief system, or even like the feeling of I can't move forward or I can't change something. What is your soul's purpose, your soul's mission in this lifetime? Group 3. I'm going to do 2 more. Okay, group 3. What is your soul's mission, your soul's purpose in this lifetime? Seven of Swords in reverse. Page of Wands. King of Pentacles in reverse. What is that doing in here? That's from another deck. 3 of Wands, 7 of Wands, 9 of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles. What is your soul's purpose, your soul's mission? The Devil. That would be it. That would be a dead end, the Devil energy, because it's a very oppressive, restrictive, limiting, making us feel bound, trapped, stuck. The 5 of Pentacles and the Moon. Two of Wands and the 8 of Pentacles. Okay. Four of Pentacles. Okay. I really feel the major arcanas here, the Devil and the Moon. Both of them can bring in illusion, confusion, deception, uncertainty, self-doubt. Also with the Devil. Fears, anxiety, the fear of the unknown. This is also fear. Okay, so the energy that I'm getting and seeing the Emperor here is at the bottom with the High Priestess and the Knight of Wands. Okay, so your purpose and mission in this lifetime is to, and of course this can change over time as you kind of overcome this energy, but I feel that you're really learning, I feel like, how to master, learning to trust yourself first and foremost, learning how to trust yourself and trust your intuition, especially with regards to taking action. This means stepping outside of your comfort zone, because I feel that many of you that have chosen this pile, there could be certain things that you want to do, that you want to create, that you want to manifest, but it's all this thinking and waiting for this to happen, waiting for that to happen. I can't do this yet, or I can't do that yet, or it's not time yet, or I need to put it off, or it's not. So it's kind of like you're getting stuck where you're limiting yourself in what your true, I want to say, abilities are. This is about allowing yourself to make mistakes, allowing yourself to push past fears of failure. Because the King of Pentacles energy showing up in reverse, and I feel like it's helpful if we talk about it, what it means in the upright first. The King of Pentacles is about using your resources. It is about a lot of hard work, commitment, dedication, time, energy, consistency to putting forth what you're trying to create within the material world that will develop over that time that you put in. This is us feeling secure within ourselves. Now, I like to think of the King of Pentacles with his backstory as a person who did not give up, who has, because the King of Pentacles can represent like a very wealthy person, a person who's very abundant, a person who's made some really good investments, choices, who's been very practical in approach, who has thought about things well thought out, who's a planner, and who has fallen down many times, who has failed many times. But it's that believing in the self and trusting in one's abilities that have made the King of Pentacles who he is, which is a hard worker, which is dedicated, which is loyal to what it is that he's putting his time and his energy into. And it is being able to then reap the reward of all of that hard work and consistency and dedication and time spent on the planning and making those good choices to get to where he wants to be. This is feeling very secure within yourself, to understand that when we are doing things in life, that we don't always get it the first time, and that we might have to pick ourselves back up and believe in ourselves and do it again. And the King of Pentacles would be that person who has done that, who has maybe had many doors closed in his face, or who has been told no hundreds of times, or who has tried this thing and that thing and this thing, and it didn't work. But then finally, through that believing in the self and dedication to what you love, it is you seeing the fruits of your labor, and you then being able to bask in the abundance in what you've created, what you've manifested, what you've built for yourself. Now, with the King of Pentacles in reverse, this is when we don't feel secure. It is when we're maybe not using the resources. Maybe we are feeling insecure within ourselves. Maybe we are making bad investments, or we're not investing where we should. We're not committing ourselves. We're not disciplined. Okay. So I kind of feel that there are certain things that you want to do, certain things that you want to try, certain things that excite you, certain things that you're passionate about, but you just wait because you feel like you don't have the resources. Okay, that would put you in that Five of Pentacles energy, where you feel like your needs are not going to be met. You can't take the risk. It's not going to come together for you. It's not going to happen. And this could be having a lot of good ideas, but then not doing anything with them. Maybe it's procrastination, hesitation, low self-esteem, low self-worth. You feel like you're not worthy of success, or you're not worthy of abundance, or, if you've been raised in a poverty consciousness, scarcity mindset, that can be a belief system that really impacts our view of the self and how we fit into the world and what we're able to create and manifest for ourselves. Now, when we're in the Five of Pentacles energy, sometimes it can talk about being in a place of financial hardship, or, not having a home, not having a job, not having our basic needs be met. And we might feel in a very place where we feel very helpless and hopeless, and we feel like that there's nothing that we can do to change our situation. Okay. I'm also getting somebody who's watching this reading who's on disability. Okay. That's also something Spirit is telling me. Disabled or disability, limited income, limited resources. Now, the message with the Five of Pentacles tells us that Even though we might be in that state where we feel like we don't have the resources, we really do. Okay? This is about you knowing that you are someone that is resourceful. Okay? There's a lot about us changing away from fear-based thinking, insecurities within ourselves that can truly help you to step into a place of your power and recognizing that there are opportunities available to you, of recognizing that you do have the ability to manifest the wealth, the financial security, or to know that there are certain passions, skills, talents that you have that could be something that could reap a lot of positive reward for you. Whether this does have to do with money or even any other thing that you're trying to manifest into your life. Maybe it's a secure relationship for yourself. Okay? So some of you might also get really comfortable in the comfort zone. Okay, staying at a job even though it's not paying you enough, or staying in a relationship even though it's not really providing what you want or what you need. And this is that feeling of waiting and longing for something more, but then not taking the initiative to actually go after that, whatever that might be. Now, sometimes with that change or that shift, that might mean that we might have to face certain hurdles. You know, the universe is not really saying it's going to be easy. Sometimes the universe will test us and say, okay, well, if this is really the path that you want, here's a challenge. How bad do you want it? How committed are you to overcoming your fears and your insecurities to have what you want, to get what you want? The Page of Wands is enthusiasm, excitement, travel, exploring, and adventures, and trying new things and manifesting new things. It's all of that enthusiastic energy that we feel at the beginning of something. And instead of waiting, right, for something to happen, something to shift, something to change, it's kind of like you're becoming the shift and the change that you wish to bring about in your life. So a lot of your purpose in this lifetime is learning how to overcome your own fears, your own insecurities, your own limiting beliefs, your own not trusting yourself and your intuition. And this is putting you into a place where you really step into your masculine energy. The Knight of Wands is about action, motivation, passion, drive to go after something, to pursue something, taking the initiative here. The Two of Wands is about your plans, right? Your plans, taking the first step, taking the lead with that, stepping outside of the comfort zone. Perseverance, Seven of Wands. This is not backing down. If you have an idea, this is what you want, you go after it. You don't let those fears and those insecurities block you from going after the goal. So you're really learning how to trust in believe in yourself, trust in your intuition, and step into your masculine energy, the Emperor. Okay, this is about planning. This is about strategy, being more strategic. This is recognizing when the ego, the unhealthy aspect of the ego, is limiting you and telling you you're gonna fail. You're not gonna do well. You should quit now. You're not good enough, right? All that inner stuff that is limiting us in our abilities. Okay. Now the Emperor is about discipline. It is about organization. It is about bringing form and structure into what we are creating, what we are manifesting. This requires us to be more confident in ourselves. This requires us to take decisive action. So if we are in that state of that Five of Pentacles, feeling the energy of despair, feeling helpless, feeling that we don't have the resources, this message tells us there are resources available. Okay, it's just in our limited perspective and the way that we're thinking of it is that we can't do anything to change it, right? That whole, I'm going to wait till tomorrow. I'm going to wait till next year. I'm going to wait till this happens or this changes or this, and then it never happens, right? There's always something where we put it off. And it's like, it almost feels like it's never the right time. And so we never reach those goals. We never attain what it is that we really desire in life that's going to make us truly feel happy and content and stable and secure. So I feel like the dead end is where you limit yourself. And this is learning how to break free from that energy, and you step into your power, reclaim your power, and create a solid, stable foundation for yourself. And this is by way of really working on yourself. The Eight of Pentacles is about self-mastery. This is about letting go of the comfort zone. About, for some of you, it could be that you have a job that pays you really well, but you're not happy. And it's like you really have a desire to pursue a passion that you have, but there's that fear of letting go of what we feel like this is the only thing that's going to give me security. And I don't believe that my passion and pursuing the things that I really love is going to give me that security. That's a limiting belief. Okay? So it's you learning in this lifetime how to move beyond your limitations, the limitations and the unhealthy aspects of the ego, right? The moon energy is also having to do with our intuition, but sometimes with the moon, things are not clear, right? The moon basically tells us all is not as it seems, or all is not being revealed to us at this time. Sometimes there's a need for us to take that first step and follow the intuition, and then the path is going to be revealed to us. This could also be, I'm kind of seeing, because we have the Emperor here, it's Aries energy. Aries is about leadership, okay? And so this could be you really stepping into your power here and forging a new path for yourself, creating a new path for yourself, instead of kind of saying, oh, well, I don't know exactly what this is going to lead to, so I'm just gonna not do it, right? This is kind of shifting you into that powerful energy of feeling excited and motivated and saying, okay, I'm gonna pave my path along the way, right? Now, of course, if we're wanting to make some kind of huge career move, career change, then we do need to make sure that if we're kind of planning that type of transition, that you want to take care of your priorities and say, okay, I really want to make this career change. So in order for me to prepare for that, I'm going to set aside this amount of money to help me with this transition. Or, even something that I had to do when I was transitioning from my career in nursing into what I'm doing now, I had to do both. I had to do YouTube and work until it kind of leveled out in terms of money, success, things of that nature, where I was like, okay, now it's time to let go. And it was scary, but it was also the best decision that I've ever made in my life when it came to feeling pulled towards a certain calling. And I knew that I couldn't hold on to both any longer, but I had done both of them, so that might be something for you too, like especially if you're planning that type of transition where you're wanting to kind of make those improvements in your life and you're wanting to like leave a career behind and pursue a passion that you have, but also afraid that you're not going to have that financial security. Try to balance out the schedule, right? So that you're kind of making time for your passion and also maintaining the sense of financial security on the side until you start to feel like, okay, I can't keep doing both. It's time to completely let go of this other thing. And for those of you where it could be literally that there is, a loss of a job, or, you are on disability, you are on a limited income, there are certain other things, right, that you can do to create, to manifest, even if you have to stay at home, right? With today's age, with computer technology and social media and, a lot of stuff being done online and also being done remote, there's so much opportunity out there, right? This gives you a time to really explore and to find out what your niche is and what things that you're interested in. There's a market for everything, right? There are resources that are available. There is opportunities that are out there. It's just about us having the idea, having the inspiration, and going with it, right? Taking that first step. Maybe for some of you, it's wanting to own your own business and wanting to be more self-sufficient and to, not depend on others financially, and you want to kind of do your own thing. Then this is where you're learning how to do that, learning how to be, say, less codependent upon others, and learning how to be more self-sufficient and create and be in charge of your own wealth, your own abundance. And so that does, right? This could be certainly working on our own insecurities And why aren't we feeling confident in ourselves, right? What limiting, or where did that limiting belief come from? When was our confidence first impacted? Was it something that happened during childhood? Was it something that happened during a relationship that we had where a person minimized you or belittled you or made you feel like you weren't good enough, and that really affected your self-esteem and your confidence? When we can get to the root of that issue, right, and take a good look at it, then we can start to say, okay, this person said that to me, and before I went into that relationship or that, that job, I felt so empowered, I felt so confident, and then this person just kind of like wore me down and made me feel like I wasn't good enough and changed the way that I viewed myself, right? We want to get to work to healing those things that are the root of the issue. And if that means we need to go to therapy, or we need to talk to someone about it, or we need to sit with those feelings and those emotions that we have surrounding whatever that wound is, that's where we start, right? From the ground up, to help us to feel more empowered and more confident and more strong mentally, emotionally, spiritually, where we restore that trust and that faith within ourselves. We change into a more supportive belief systems and acknowledge the ones that are hindering us and blocking us. Okay? So let's, so I feel like many of you, you're learning how to really, tune into your intuition, trust your intuition. And sometimes it means trusting it before it makes sense. Just trusting it, just going with it. Okay? I know some of you are new here, but some of you have followed me from my other channel, Moon Moth Goddess, and I let you guys know a lot of what my journey, was like. And when I went through my awakening in 2019, I had never seen a tarot deck before in my life. I had never got a tarot reading. And one day I kind of woke up and I got a message from Spirit saying, go buy a tarot deck. Okay. And I was just like, I woke up my husband and I was like, let's go to the bookstore. And he was like, okay, what are we going to get? And I was like, a tarot deck. And he's like, huh? And I was like, really? I mean, like, right? Like, I'm going to go buy a tarot deck right now. I've never seen one before. I've never had anything like that. So it was like weird that I woke up and it was like, you need to go buy a tarot deck. Just that feeling. And I needed to just go with it. So I went to the bookstore. I looked and I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to get this one. And I took it home and I looked at it and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing with this. I looked at the cards and I was like, what? It was very overwhelming, But then I started to study and started to learn. And then before you know it, I was on YouTube. And I didn't even know where that was going to take me either, And here we are almost 6 years later, and 2 channels and a business. Okay. But if I would have saw it back then, I would have just been like, no, I'm too scared to do that. I'm not going to be on YouTube. I'm not going to talk. I'm not going to, interact with people in that way. I don't even know how to read tarot. Right. But it's just the feeling that I had to trust, the inner knowing that I had that was pushing me. And yes, there was fear there. Yes, there was insecurity. Yes, there was that feeling of, am I just wrecking my whole life right now because I also let go of nursing, right? So sometimes you've just got to push past, right? The 7 of Wands, just push past, do it differently, right? The safe is like, okay, I'm going to stay in the safe place. I'm going to stay where I know it feels secure and I'm not going to make any of those changes. But then it's just like the whole dreaming and imagining and fantasizing about what you could have and about what this could be and what that could be. But you limit yourself, right? Let's see. Athlete. It says you are dedicated to push through physical limitations, strengthen your willpower, and development of spirit. That is your purpose, right? Your own limitations. I just dropped that one. We got healer here. Nurturing soul, natural healer of mental, physical, and emotional issues in yourself and others. We have the Hermit. It says, seek solitude to go down your own pathway of wisdom. Focus intently on inner life, working on your personal creativity. And your Page of Wands here is about exploring that creativity, exploring your passions. Let yourself journey, let yourself explore. The Student. Forever growing mindset. Diligent and persistent to learn, absorbs knowledge and information like a sponge, right? So you're letting yourself explore. You're not limiting yourself. You're letting yourself grow, develop, discover what maybe your hidden talents are, your hidden skills, you're allowing yourself to do those things that you feel called to without being stuck in a place of fear. And for some of you, this could even be something that turns into a business, where you decide, oh, this is my passion. I'm going to turn this into a business. And you become self-sufficient, self-made. You feel confident in yourself and you're in control of your own abundance here. And then at the bottom of the deck, we do have the Phoenix, and it says, rising from the ashes, breaking the chains of attachment, and have learned the lesson of letting go. And for some of you, the letting go is to people, situations, ideas, belief systems that are limiting, okay? That are in that place of lack. If it's a relationship that's not giving you what you need, it's letting go of that connection. If it's a job, letting go of that job. If it's you holding yourself back in that, that lack mentality from limiting your ability to really perform or to do the things that you really want to do, it's also letting go of that too. Okay. All right. So that is all that I have for you, Group 3. I do hope this was helpful for you guys, and I will see you in the next reading.